Today we are going to learn a new chapter from the textbook of Social and Political Life 1 of class 6, chapter 4, Key Elements of a Democratic Government. The name of the chapter is Key Elements of a Democratic Government. Chapter 4, Key Elements of a Democratic Government. What is the meaning of democratic government? A democratic government means the government of the people, by the people and for the people. The government of the people, by the people and for the people. Here people have the power. They elect their leaders. They elect their representatives. It is a rule by the people. A democratic government means it is a rule by the people. So in this chapter we are going to learn about some key elements that influence the working of a democratic government. Key elements of a democratic government. And it includes people's participation, the resolution of conflict, equality and justice. So in this chapter we are going to learn about key elements of a democratic government and people's participation in a democratic government and the resolution of conflict, then equality and justice. Let us start the chapter. First of all, South Africa is a country that has people of several races. South Africa is a country that has people of several races. Races means different categories of people. Different categories of people based on color. So South Africa is a country that has people of several races. There are black people who belongs to South Africa. First category, black people who belong to South Africa itself. Then next, whites who came there to settle. Whites who came there for settle. There to settle. Then Indians who came as laborers and traders. Indians who came as laborers and traders. Laborers. Do you know what is the meaning of laborers? Laborers means for searching job. A person doing unskilled manual work for wages. A person doing unskilled manual work for wage. They are known as laborers. Workers is known as laborers. And traders means a person who buys and sells goods. Trader means a person who buys and sells goods. A person who buys and sells goods is known as trader. So Indians came there as laborers and traders. So these are the different categories of people in South Africa. Which are they? Black people. Black people are there. Black people actually belong to the South Africa. Then whites are there who came there to settle. Who came there for settle from different countries, different other countries. And Indians came there as laborers and traders. And South Africa was earlier governed by apartheid laws. South Africa was earlier governed by apartheid laws. What is the meaning of apartheid? Apartheid means separation on the basis of race. Separation on the basis of races. Race means color. Different categories of people based on color. That is known as apartheid. And South African people were divided into white, black, Indian and colored races. White people, black people, Indian and colored races. According to the law, these races were not allowed to mingle with each other, mix with each other, to live near each other or even to use common facilities. So because of this apartheid system, that races, different categories of peoples are there. They were not allowed to mix with each other, mingle with each other and live near each other and even to use common facilities. Different ways in which non-whites were discriminated against. Different ways. Which are the different ways in which non-whites were discriminated against? First one, hospitals and ambulances were separate for whites and non-whites. Hospitals and ambulances were separate for whites and non-whites. Then there were separate trains and buses. There were separate trains and buses for whites and non-whites. Then bus stops were different. Bus stops were also different for whites and non-whites. No voting right to non-whites. No voting rights to non-whites. Best lands were reserved for whites and worst land for reserved for non-whites. Worst means poorest quality or lowest standard land. So best lands reserved for whites and non-whites had ownership on worst available land. Poorest quality land only got by non-whites. Best lands reserved for whites people and poorest quality, lowest standard lands only got by the non-whites. So they are actually blacks and colored people were not considered to be equal to whites. Blacks and colored people were not considered to be equal to whites. So in the first and second page of that chapter, there was given a conversation between Maya Naidu and her mother. And they discussed about an incident that took place on 16th June 1976. 16th June 1976. And what was the incident? And very clearly it described there in the textbook page number 36. One black township was the southwestern township, that is Soweto. Soweto was the southwestern township. Hector Peterson lived there and he and his classmates joined the protest against learning the African language in school. African language means the language that the whites spoke. Hector and his classmates were forced to learn this language, but they want to learn their own language. That was Zulu language, Zulu. The South African police beat up the protesters. Protesters means the persons who disagree strongly. And mercilessly and shoot at the crowd. The police beat up the protesters mercilessly and shoot at the crowd. One of their bullets killed Hector. This was on 16th June 1976. So Hector Peterson was a victim of the apartheid system. He was a victim of the apartheid system. The African National Congress, a group of people who led the struggle against apartheid, and their most well-known leader, Nelson Mandela, fought the apartheid system for several years. Nelson Mandela. Who was Nelson Mandela? And he was the country's first black head of state and the first elected in a fully representative democratic election. First president of Democratic Africa. Who was the first president of the Democratic Africa? Nelson Mandela. And he fought the apartheid system for several years. Finally, they succeed and in 1994, South Africa became a democratic country in which people of all races were considered equal. So, in the year 1994, South Africa became a democratic country. Their people considered equal consideration for all the people. So, in 1994, South Africa became a democratic country. In 1994, South Africa became a democratic country. In 1994, South Africa became a democratic country in which people of all races were considered equal. And how would Maya's life be different in South Africa today? Now she can use roads, buses and railway trains as others do without any discrimination. So after 1994, she can use roads, buses and railway trains as others do. And she can attend hotels and restaurants. She can use hospitals and ambulances as others do. She can walk in the park freely. She has no fear of police. So after became a democratic country, all the people got equal rights, and now people of all races were considered equal. Now let us study what is a democratic government. What is a democratic government? A government of the people, by the people and for the people is known as a democratic country. A democratic government means a government of the people, by the people and for the people. Here people make the decisions in a democracy. People make the decision of a democracy. Through voting in elections, people elect their leaders to represent them. People elect their leaders, and the leaders actually representing the people. These representatives take decisions on behalf of the people, and in doing so, it is assumed that they will keep in mind the voices and interests of the people. So they know that if they do not prove equal to the needs and hopes of the people, they may be thrown out and new representatives could be elected. All governments elected for fixed period. All governments are elected for a fixed period. In a democracy, all governments are elected for a fixed period. In India, this period is 5 years. In India, this period is 5 years. And once elected, government can stay in power only for that time, that period. How many years in India? Only for 5 years. If they want to continue to be in power, then they have to be re-elected by the people. If they want to continue, they want to re-elected by the people. This is a moment when people can sense their power in a democracy. So at the time of the election, people use their sense for their power, and in this way the power of the government gets limited by regular elections. Regular elections are conducted in a democracy. That's why people get a chance for taking their or selecting their representatives. So the representatives only elected for a fixed period. In India, it is 5 years. So after that, re-election will conducted in every 5 years, and the representatives, if they need next chance, they need to consider all people equal. Now let us study what are the various ways in which people participate in the process of government. What are the various ways in which people participate in the process of government? Other ways of participating. People participate in the process of government through the following various ways. People participate in the process of government through the following ways. First one, by taking interest in the working of the government. By taking interest in the working of the government. By taking interest in the working of the government. Next one, by criticizing the government on various unpopular issues. By criticizing the government on various unpopular issues. Then by taking out rallies, dharnas, strikes, etc. By taking out rallies, dharnas, strikes, etc. By holding signature campaigns. And by opposing various unpopular resolutions, bills and issues in state legislatures and parliament through their representatives. By opposing various unpopular resolutions, bills and issues in state legislatures and parliament through their representatives. And organizing social movements. For example, members of the minority community, Dalit, Adivasis, women, etc. They are organizing social movement. So these are the different ways in which people participating in the process of government. So through these various ways, people participating in the process of government. If people are allied, government will be efficient. If people are allied, the government will be efficient. How? If a country's people are allied and interested in how the country is run, the democratic character of the government of that country will be stronger. If a country's people are allied and interested in how the country is run, how the country is run. If people are alert and interested in how the country is run, the democratic character of the government of that country will be stronger. That means if people are alert, government will be efficient. If people are alert, the government will be efficient. Now let us study and how do conflicts occur and lead to violence and death. So in a country, how do conflicts occur? Conflicts happen and lead to violence and death. There are some special reasons for that. How? Which are the factors or which are the main points conflicts occur and lead to violence and death? When people of different cultures, religions, regions or economic backgrounds do not get along with one another. So when people of different cultures, religions, regions or economic backgrounds do not get along with one another, there is a chance to conflict occur, conflict happen. So which is the first point? When people of different cultures, religions, regions or economic backgrounds do not get enough with or do not get along with one another, there is a chance to conflict occur. Then when some of them feel they are being discriminated against, when some of them feel they are being discriminated against, discrimination, separated on the basis of color, creed and sex and all. Okay, so when some of them feel they are being discriminated against, there is a chance to conflict occur or conflict happen. So first point, when people of different cultures, religions, regions and economic backgrounds do not get along with one another, there is a chance to conflict. And when some of them feel they are being separated or discriminated against, there is a chance to conflict happen. Then people use violent means to settle their differences. That time also there is a chance to conflict. People use violent means to settle their differences. When people use violent means to settle their differences, then there is a chance to conflict. This leads to fear and tension among others, leaving an area and lead to conflict or violence. Then, which are the another reasons? Religious procession and celebrations can sometimes lead to conflict. Religious processions and celebrations can sometimes lead to conflict. Rivers too can become a source of conflict between states. Rivers also a source of conflict. Rivers too can become a source of conflict. How? A river may begin in state, flow through another and end in a third. So a river may begin in one state, flow through another one and may end in another one, third one. And the sharing of river water between different states that the river goes through is becoming an issue of conflict. So sometimes rivers also a main reason for the conflict. How? A river may begin in one state and flow through another one and end in third one. And the sharing of this river water between these states may lead to conflict. For example, Kaveri water dispute. Kaveri water dispute. It is very familiar to you. And do you know what is Kaveri water dispute? River Kaveri flows through Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Already we know that river Kaveri flows through which are the two states? Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. River Kaveri flows through Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. Two dams have been constructed on this river. On this Kaveri river, two dams have been constructed. Two dams have been constructed on this Kaveri river. Krishnaraja Sagar Dam has been constructed on Kaveri in Karnataka. Which are the two dams? Krishnaraja Sagar Dam and Mettur Dam. Krishnaraja Sagar Dam has been constructed on Kaveri in Karnataka and Mettur Dam has been constructed in Tamil Nadu. Krishnaraja Sagar Dam and Mettur Dam. And Krishnaraja Sagar Dam stored water is used in irrigation in several districts of Karnataka. It stored water is used in irrigation in several districts of Karnataka. and it also meets the water needs of Bangalore city. So Krishnarajasagar Dam that stored water used in irrigation in several districts of Karnataka. The same time it meets the water needs of the city of Bangalore. And Mettur Dam has been constructed in Tamil Nadu and its water is used in crop irrigation in the delta regions of Tamil Nadu. So Mettur Dam, that water is used in crop irrigation in the delta regions of Tamil Nadu. Due to these two dams on the same river, a conflict has arisen. Due to these two dams, which are the two dams? Krishnarajasagar Dam and Mettur Dam. It is on the same river. Which river? Kaveri river. Because of that reason, a conflict has arisen. What is the problem? Downstream dam of Mettur could be filled up if water from upstream dam Krishnarajasagar is released. So downstream dam of Mettur and it could be filled up if water from upstream dam, which is the upstream dam Krishnarajasagar Dam, and it is released water, then only Mettur Dam could be filled. Both the states do not get as much water as per their requirement. Both the states do not get as much water as per requirement. Anyway, the central government has to step in and solve this conflict. So the central government has to step in and solve the conflict. Central government solved that problem. So this is which one? Kaveri water dispute. Kaveri water dispute. And the main thing is that river also sometimes may be a cause for the conflict, to lead to conflict. Next is need to resolve conflict. Need to resolve conflict. We need a government to find solution to many disputes and conflict. Why? Why do you think we need the government to find solutions to many disputes or conflict? Why do you think we need the government to find solutions to many disputes or conflict? Why we need a government to resolve conflict? Because of the following reasons. First one, disputes and conflict block the way to progress. Disputes and conflict block the way to progress. To block the way to progress. Then, they often turn violent and cause damage to property and life of the people. Conflict or violence that may cause to damage to property and life of the people. They often turn violent and cause damage to property and life of the people. Then next point, government has to compensate people who are killed, wounded or those properties are destroyed in the violent incidents. If violent incidents are happened there, the government has to compensate them. The government has to compensate the people who are killed, wounded or whose properties are destroyed. Then, crores of rupees are spent on committees and commissions. Crores of rupees are spent on committees and commissions. The attention of the government is diverted from welfare measures. The attention of the government is diverted from welfare measures. If violence or conflicts are happened there, the attention of the government diverted from welfare measures. The attention of the government diverted from welfare measures. That's why we need a government to resolve conflict. So these are the important reasons we need a government to resolve conflict. Need to resolve conflict. Why? Because disputes and conflict block the way to progress. They often turn violent and cause damage to property and life of the people. Government has to compensate people who are killed, wounded or whose properties are destroyed, and a crores of rupees are spent in committees and commissions. The attention of the government is diverted from welfare measures. These are the important reasons we need a government to solve conflict. Next is equality and justice. Equality and justice. What is equality? The state of being equal. The state of being equal. Justice means just behavior or treatment. Just behavior or treatment. So one of the key ideas of a democratic government is its commitment to equality and justice. Equality and justice are the key ideas of a democratic government. One of the key ideas of a democratic government is equality. And equality and justice are the key ideas of a democratic government. Equality means the state of being equal. The state of being equal. And justice means just behavior or treatment. Just behavior or treatment. The earlier practice of untouchability is now banned by law. The earlier practice of untouchability. Untouchability means it is a practice prevailed in the society. Forbidden to the touch. Forbidden to the touch. Based on the caste, the lower caste peoples are untouchable ones. The upper caste ones are higher caste people, and the lower caste peoples are treated as untouchables. And it is a practice prevailed in the ancient system. The earlier practice of untouchability banned by law. Lower caste people are treated as untouchables. This group of people were divided into so many different groups, and they were denied education, transport or medical facilities, and even the chance to offer prayers. Now the practice of untouchability is banned by law. Now untouchability banned by law. Then, which are the key ideas of a democratic government? Key ideas of a democratic government. Already we studied that equality and justice, main ideas or key ideas of a democratic government. Then, ban on untouchability. Ban on untouchability. Then, no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed and sex. Boys and girls are equal. Now boys and girls are equal, and the government also recognize this and make special provisions for groups within society that are unequal. For instance, in our society, there is a general tendency to value and care for the boy child more than the girl child. Now not in the earlier. Earlier there is a tendency to value more care for the boy child more than the girl child. But now the boy child and girl, they are equal. Boys and girls are equal. No discrimination against anyone. Now no discrimination against anyone. So these are the key ideas of a democratic government. Which are the key ideas of a democratic government? Equality and justice. Ban on untouchability. Ban on untouchability. No discrimination on the basis of caste, creed and sex, male or female. Then boys and girls are equal. No discrimination against anyone. So these are the important points in this chapter. I hope that you understand this chapter, and all of you read this chapter 4 or 5 times, study the notes. Thank you.